back to Welcome Back. As promised, it was 2 weeks since I put out a video and I'm putting out another video, so I'm really proud of myself. Today's tutorial is going to be on embossing. I just learned how to do this and it is the funnest thing ever, so I can't wait to show you how to do it. So we're going to head right to that, but first I just wanted to show you some other things I've been working on. If you follow me on Instagram, please do, because that's where I post the most. I finally finished posting about all of my postcards that you saw in the last video. And because if you're watching this, you totally deserve a treat, so I'm going to be putting up a coupon code once I figure out what it's going to be. You can go to my Etsy shop, the link will be here, and then you can put in that coupon code and you can get 20% off of all of my cards and prints in my shop. Also, I started on my Instagram story. I got this great book called Great Thought a Day, and I've just been going through it with the quotes and then doing some hand lettering. That's the top. Doing some hand lettering. Yeah, so I've just been posting these daily on my story. I just do them in the morning every day, and they're pretty quick, so I've just been putting them on my story because they're not like fully developed prints. But I don't know, what do you think? Should I start posting them on my actual Instagram feed? I'm not quite sure, but every day you can look for one of those little encouraging quotes in the morning. And yeah, I think that's about it. I've just been in school. I did a cool illustration project this week. Maybe I'll post that here so you can see what I've been working on this week. Got another illustration project due this week and all the projects and all the fun, but I'm really enjoying my program. And yeah, it's kind of my update. Not much has changed. So yeah, now let's get to the embossing tutorial. Okay, I'll meet you in the other room. Okay, so here's some supplies you're going to need. You're going to need some smooth white paper. You need some embossing powders. You're going to need some Ranger clear ink pens. You're going to need a clear ink stamping pad. Some just assorted stamps. Going to need some letter stamps, a paintbrush, and a heat gun. Okay, so to start, we're going to be doing our title of our episode today, which is All That Glitters is Gold. So I'm going to start with some stamps. So you're going to press it into your clear embossing ink and firmly down on the paper. Now it's kind of hard to see because it's invisible ink, so I try to place my finger underneath just so I know where I last stamped. And I'm just going to fast forward the video a little bit here just to show the rest of the letters. Perfect. And so now I'm going to be doing some brush lettering with our invisible brush pen. Maybe I'll do some videos later on how to brush letter, but you can just kind of see what I'm doing here. This shows up a little bit better for the video. Yeah, so I'm just using the brush tip and finally going up and then pushing hard and making thick lines as I go down. I was worried when I did this originally that those thin lines weren't going to show up, but they actually do. It picks up quite a lot from this brush. Okay, and then I'm just going to use stamps for the is. Perfect. Okay, and then I'm just going to hand letter gold. So I'm making thin upstrokes and thick downstrokes. Perfect, so now time for the fun part. Okay, so we're going to take our embossing powder and you're just going to pour a ton onto it. Don't worry about wasting it because we're going to collect it all later. Just pour, making sure it's completely covered. And what we're going to do is lift it up and dump all of that embossing powder off. Perfect, just going to tap it off. Now see, because of the stamps, some of the ink got on parts of the sides. So I don't want that in my final one, so I'm just going to take a brush and carefully wipe all of the stuff I don't want on there off. And I'll just blow it off and clean that right up. Perfect. So now we still have all that powder that we want to save. So you're going to bend your paper and pour it all right back into the tube. Perfect. So good, because anything that's left on that paper too, any of those sparkles are going to melt and become embossed. Back our paper. And now the magic happens. So you're going to take your embossing heat gun, turn it on. You don't see it melt right away. It's okay, just let it warm up a bit, and it'll start melting after about 5 to 10 seconds. Wait for it. Yeah, there we go. And you don't necessarily have to go this close. You can do it from a little further back. Isn't that crazy how it goes from like brown to super, super shiny? Now you're going to want to be really careful not to touch it right after because it's melted, so it'll smudge. But if you just let it sit for 5 minutes, it'll be all glossed over and hard. Yeah, so a heat gun, it kind of sounds like a blow dryer when it's on, but it's different because it's not blowing a lot of air. It's just kind of like a concentrated heat. So you can't use a hair dryer for this. It's very special. Although I've wondered if you can use a heat gun as a hair dryer. So shiny. So I had tried this earlier on a different paper, and it really didn't turn out that good. So this is on a multimedia paper. I would also recommend Bristol paper. Just a smoother paper is going to have a smoother texture. So I wouldn't recommend that earlier paper I used. Yeah, there's also different kinds of embossing powder. Apparently different ones are smoother than others. I think this one's fairly good, but I might look into in the future seeing if I can find one that might be smoother. So I also just wanted to show you on a darker paper. So this is black paper. I'm going to use my pineapple stamp. Perfect. Yeah, this one has really fine lines, but it gets picked up pretty well. So I'm also going to use my bullet pen. This actually shows up a bit better for just the fine writing rather than the stamps. And I'm going to be writing, "You are the pineapple of my eye." The one thing with hand lettering is trying to figure out to make sure that you have enough spacing. So you can use pencil, and it's okay if you have pencil with embossing as long as you go right over top of it, because then it won't be visible underneath. But I didn't do that, and you'll see I kind of run out of space, and then I messed up the P. But that's okay, because you can go back and fix it by brushing it off like I did earlier. Not too bad. Of my eye. Yeah, so I also, you can kind of see on the tip of my brush that it's kind of white. I kind of messed up because before I had the ink pad, I was like, oh, I'll just brush over my stamp, and I kind of ruined the nib, so I need to get some more of these so I don't do that by the ink pad. Unless you only want a hand letter and not use stamps, then you don't need an ink pad, but it's good to have both. Perfect. And once you've dusted that off, and now just watch the magic happen. So I'm going to show you some examples of other colors I used, but I really like the gold the best. Yes, even though it was really fine on the pineapple, I picked it up really well. Yeah, that ink is really sensitive. Like anywhere it is, the dust is going to fit perfectly on that. Yeah, it's really nice against the dark too. And then it's embossed, right? So it's going to be a little bit raised, which has that really nice texture. And we'll compare that with the white. They both look really nice. Okay, so here's some examples. I got a different gold. That's the Tinsel Gold, and it has little specks inside. And this is the detail embossing one, which was the smooth one. Yeah, so I tried the tinsel. It looks prettier in the jar, but I think I prefer the detail one without the tinsel in it, because it just makes it a little rougher. It's not that much nicer. Then I also use this black one. It's also a detail embossing powder, but it has some sparkle in it. This one turned out pretty nice. Then I use this one that's called Opaque Sparkle. This was the blue one. Yeah, it turned out pretty nice. If you want that sparkle sparkle. And then this one was supposed to be white. It's called Pearl Embossing Powder, but I don't think it really showed up as white. But that's okay. Maybe if you put a different color underneath, you'd still be able to see it. So I had these cards printed, but I wasn't really satisfied with how the hand lettering turned out. The fine lines are so fine you can barely see them. So I went over top of it and embossed it. So this is something you can do. You can go over things that you've already made and emboss them. Yeah, and then this is another one that I did earlier, again with the same pineapple. So there's so many things you can do with this. It's so fun to just hand letter. It's like invisible, and then you put the powder on, do the magic. So these are the brushes. They're Ranger, Perfect Medium. There's a brush and a bullet pen. There's also a pack that comes with a black one and a clear one, and the black one also works really well. Alright, so if you'd like any more tutorials, want to learn some more DIYs, there's some more videos up on my page. Yeah, so tune in next week. I'll probably do some more embossing tutorials and some hand lettering tutorials soon, and there's also going to be a Valentine's episode coming. Okay, see you guys next time. Much love, back.